The Trumpian tariff, how India should tackle it.
India should never bend. You are seeing unpredictable and inconsistent behavior which is not in tune with the bipartisan perspective which was adopted by the United States over the last 2.5 years. The Prime Minister has invested a lot in this relationship with the United States over the last decade. We should look at a long-term perspective and win the game with the United States in the long run.
Dilemma for India, maybe, which India is facing right now, the second biggest economy, China, that is also not in great terms with India.
Our interest is, instead of importing from China, we should get Chinese to do joint ventures with Indian companies on a minority stake and do manufacturing in India. Key is that how do we take India from a $4 trillion to a $35 trillion economy by the time we become 100? That's the vision of the Prime Minister.
If in case Russia and US come close, do you see this 25% tariff going?
25% tariff is totally arbitrary. Then you should also be imposing 25% tariff on China, on Turkey, Europe, which is a very major importer of gas from Russia. And you should also be imposing it on many of the importers in United States.
Where do you see India's positioning now, globally? Do you think it has shaken a little bit after this singling out by US?
First of all, we must have confidence in ourselves. One measure, two measures don't shake your confidence. It's important that our vision must be of growth, growth and growth.
Mr. Amitabh Kant, thank you for talking to us. I will come straight to the point. The Trumpian tariff, 50%, 25% additional because we are buying Russian oil. How do you look at it and how India should tackle it?
First of all, I'm a believer that India should not compromise on its energy security or its strategic autonomy. We are here for a long-term game and we must win the long-term war. My belief is that we built up a relationship with the United States over 2.5 decades, which was bipartisan in nature. And this attempt to put a 50% duty does not stand to logic because we import oil, but more than twice of that, China imports. Turkey imports from Russia. And if we do not import from Russia, then we are putting our citizens to great economic hardship. We will take our economy and impact it in a very big manner. And therefore, we should do what is in our national interest, and that is what the government is doing right now. My belief also is that this is a huge opportunity for India. India is being tested, and it should galvanize us in a very big way. It's a once-in-a-generation opportunity to carry out very vigorous reforms across the economy. My view is that this is an opportunity which Trump has given us to set our GST, make it far more easy and simple, make your personal taxes very simple, reduce the statutory liquidity ratio so that we allow more credit to flow into our economy, set right our cities, which can then become the centers of growth, and to my mind, make yourself a more innovative and research-oriented country and use tourism to drive growth. Tourism is tariff-proof, and tourism is a massive opportunity for both growth and job creation. And we should use tourism to penetrate all global markets right now.
So some financial think tanks are saying that this may not impact the Indian economy as much. Do you agree with that?
So the Goldman Sachs study, which has just been released, shows that actually Trumpian tariff is impacting 68% of the consumers in the United States. It impacts 22% of the importers in United States. and it impacts only 12% of the exporters. That's as far as the United States is concerned. And therefore, it will have long-term implication for the United States in terms of inflation. It'll have implication in terms of slowdown of growth. It'll have implication on unemployment creation and impact the United States economy in the long term. India is also not a very large trading economy as such, and our exports, while from our perspective are big in terms to the United States in some sectors, textiles, leather, etc., but in many other areas, if you look at electronic goods or pharma sector or services sector, these sectors are not getting impacted, and therefore it'll have only a very, very minor marginal impact on Indian economy.
Sir, another what you say dilemma for India, maybe which India is facing right now, the second biggest economy, China, that is also not in great terms with India right now, although we are the big trading partners. So do you see Indian businesses inclining towards this region, diversifying?
We do about 120 billion worth of imports from China. When China had very adverse relationship with Japan, it continued to have very close economic relationship with Japan. China has a very adverse political relationship with Taiwan, yet the biggest investors in China are Taiwan and the Taiwanese businessmen. To my mind, our interest is, and it's in our economic interest, that instead of importing from China, we should get Chinese to do joint ventures with Indian companies on a minority stake and do manufacturing in India. And that will enable India to do both input manufacturing and component manufacturing and accelerate the process of Make in India and accelerate the process of manufacturing in India. And that, to my mind, is a long-term answer to economic growth. The key is that how do we take India from a $4 trillion to a $35 trillion economy by the time we become 100? That's the vision of the Prime Minister. And we need to really provide momentum to growth. We need to grow at 8 to 9% per annum year after year, year after year, year after year. And to my mind, instead of importing, we need to do manufacturing with China in India. That will create jobs in India.
Sir, but do you see this as a real, as a reality? Because the geopolitical situation is totally different.
No, we should make this.
The kind of expansionism streak China has, do you think that can go hand in hand?
I think we should revisit Press Note 3, as has been recommended by Niti Aayog and some other bodies. And I think we've imposed Press Note 3 at the time of Doklam. Since then, there's been a lot of change in geopolitics, and we should look forward to a collaborative manufacturing partnership with China in India.
Sir, how do you see AI impacting by these tariffs? India's AI vision. India is also trying to position itself as an AI hub. So how do you look at it? Will it be impacted? And where do you see the future of this AI revolution or AI ecosystem, as I say?
So not merely AI, I think India is attempting to technologically pole vault in a range of areas. We've had the AI mission which is launched, which has moved forward. We are creating our own frontier models, and I'll come to that. But we have also launched the quantum computing mission. We've launched the semiconductor mission. We've launched the green hydrogen mission. And in all these areas, we are trying to technologically move forward very vigorously. But on AI mission, and that to my mind is key, we've built up an open source model for digital public infrastructure already. We should now build up an open source AI model, and I think 4 companies have already been identified for creating sovereign frontier models. And these sovereign frontier models are really the key. India is the only country which is also providing computing power to our research students and to our startups at much lower cost, almost 45% lower than any other part of the world. And AI will be a very, very key driver. It will be a major disruptionist, and it will be a very key driver of India's growth story in the years to come.
Sir, this will happen with or without US support or Trumpian tariff, as I say.
No, this will happen. India will work in its national interest in partnership with all countries. We are working in partnership with the United States. We are working in partnership with Europe, with China. You will have hiccups once in a while. You will have challenges, but we will continue to work with our economic autonomy, with our strategic interests, and in the interest of economic growth in the long run. That is what we must continue to do.
Do you see, if in case Russia and US come close, do you see this 25% tariff going? And in case it goes, do you think 25% tariff is still sustainable for India?
I think, first of all, 25% tariff is totally arbitrary. It is not comprehensible to me, because then you should also be imposing 25% tariff on China, on Turkey, but you should also be imposing it on Europe, which is a very major importer of gas from Russia, and you should also be imposing it on many of the importers in United States, because United States is importing a lot of critical minerals from Russia. All critical minerals are still being imported from China, so it doesn't stand to any logic.
Yes, of course, it's not logical, but the reality is that he has imposed.
So that's why I'm saying let's take a long-term perspective. India should never bend. We should look at a long-term perspective. You are seeing unpredictable, inconsistent behavior, which is not in tune with the bipartisan perspective which was adopted by the United States over the last 2.5 years. The Prime Minister has invested a lot in this relationship with the United States over the last decade. We should look at a long-term perspective and win the game with the United States in the long run.
Why India is singled out, do you think, sir?
Well, Brazil was singled out as well with 50% tariff. Brazil has not succumbed. China did not succumb. India need not succumb. I think we should hold on.
So we should also do retaliatory tariffs?
Not right now, because we still have 20 days to negotiate. Patience is a virtue in negotiations. We should do a lot of backroom negotiations. But over a long period of time, India has also we buy Boeing planes, global digital companies of United States operate in India. We give them the freedom to use our data. All these are huge advantages for India.
So coming to my last question, you said in a seminar recently that 20,000 crores should be pumped into the tourism sector.
I'm a great believer in travel and tourism, and I think this is a huge opportunity for India. We've not done brand marketing of Incredible India for the last 8 years, 9 years. The Prime Minister has laid a lot of emphasis on tourism. It's a sector which will create jobs in a very big way. Not merely Government of India, but every state should become a driver of travel and tourism. Today, only Rajasthan, Kerala, and Kashmir do that. Every state of India should drive tourism, and we should look at a very integrated marketing campaign of Incredible India, penetrating global economies across the world. That's critical for India, because that will drive growth. That will create jobs. India is buying 1,800 planes. These 1,800 planes should not be used to ferry Indians to the rest of the world. They should be used to bring tourists from across the world to India.
Sir, you led Niti Aayog, you led G20. Where do you see India's positioning now globally? Do you think it has shaken a little bit after this singling out by US?
First of all, we must have confidence in ourselves. One measure, two measures don't shake your confidence. Our vision must be very clear that we are a $4 trillion economy. We are the fastest growing economy. We are aiming to be a $35+ trillion economy by 2047, by the time we become 100. And it's important that our vision must be of growth, growth, and growth. Hard economic power comes from growth, and that requires a lot of courage, guts, and determination. One incident like this should never impact us.
Thank you so much for graciously taking all the questions, sir.